Okay. All right. So I think we can start now. Thank you, Eunice, once again for doing this for us. And today we're going to be talking about why we're using vitamin esters in our Nimue formulations. So over to you, Eunice.
Thank you. Lydia, you'll be recording the session so we can share it later. Thank you so much for asking me. You know, I love to tell people or give people more information or share more information. But you can't start to talk about esters if I don't first touch on antioxidation. Just to start at the beginning of why we actually started looking at ingredients that have an antioxidant effect on the skin, and then the esters come into that. So what is antioxidation? When we want to have an antioxidant effect on the skin, we use active ingredients that are able to improve the state of health, right? So the unhealthy state of the skin needs to be improved, and that is why you use antioxidant actives. So we do this by specifically inhibiting or neutralizing the effect of free radicals. And we know that free radicals is that big concern in daily life. Now, antioxidants are incorporated in Nimue to protect, as I said, from free radical damage or the production of free radicals that has an effect on your normal aging process. It has an effect on pollution that we come in contact with daily. And of course, UV radiation, stress, smoking, and so much more. Antioxidants then, of course, are capable to neutralize that destructive effect that took place on the skin that was caused by the free radical molecule. And they do this by donating electrons to free radicals before they get a chance to steal them from a healthy cell. And by providing an electron, antioxidants will then convert that free radical to a more stable form. Now, keep talking about free radicals. Let's just have a quick look at what free radicals are. They play an indispensable role in normal biological processes, but these unstable molecules can cause damage to normal cell processes and structures, and they are a key factor in our aging process. Now, free radicals are molecules or atoms that have either lost or gained an unpaired electron, as you can see clearly on the visual. As a result, these molecules are extremely unstable, and the quest to heal themselves, to free radicals, to heal themselves, they steal electrons from healthy cells or healthy molecules. And to defend against the damage from free radicals, antioxidants then become involved, and we use this in the process of fighting off ROS. Now, what is an ester? Esters replace natural fatty acids within your skin. If you use an ester in a formulation with your vitamins, it helps to smooth the texture of the skin, and it acts as a protecting agent. They also contribute to being a safe delivery into the skin of certain ingredients like vitamin A, as you'll see as we go along. They are modified fatty substances, and they are often used as emollients and conditioning agents. And an ester, in fact, is formed when an organic acid combines with an alcohol. Now, esters fall within the category of oleochemicals. Now, I don't know if you know what they are, but that means they are naturally derived chemicals rather than using a synthetic chemical. The exact combination of the type of alcohol together with the type of that acid, that carboxylic acid, will determine which ester in fact is produced. Now, what then is an organic acid? An organic acid is an organic compound with acidic properties, simple, just like the word says. The most common organic acids are the carboxylic acids, whose acidity is always associated, if you look at the formulations, with their carboxyl group, COOH. Now, in biological systems, organic compounds contain these groups and are then referred to organic acids. Examples of these organic acids is lactic acid, acetic acid, citric acid, malic acid, tartaric acid. Then what are the alcohols used in organic chemistry? An alcohol is any class of an organic compound that's characterized by one or more hydroxyl group that's attached to that carbon atom of an alkyl group. So hydrocarboxyl chain or hydrocarbon chain. Oleochemicals, as I said, are chemical substances derived from natural sources such as palm oil, coconut oil, it could be soy or sunflower seeds, just to name a few examples. Now, did you know the more potent, highly stable and less irritating form of an antioxidant-rich vitamin C is your vitamin C ester? Now, a vitamin C ester gives the appearance of collagen-rich skin by visibly smoothing, brightening, and minimizing discoloration over time. So here, when we use our vitamin C ester instead of a pure vitamin C, we create a more stable and less irritating form of an antioxidant. Now, let's have a look at esters specifically relating to vitamin C and E. Vitamin C, as you know, is an antioxidant, meaning it will protect those skin cells, those healthy cells that are damaged or that are affected by free radicals induced by UV. It will also inhibit melanin production in the skin that is also often due to UV exposure, and it will help to lighten and brighten those pigmented areas and the brown spots. In the nutshell, it will then enhance skin radiance. Vitamin E, on the other hand, is also a powerful antioxidant, and it also has an effect on reducing UV damage to the skin. Now, when it's applied to the skin topically, UVA nourishes and protects the skin from that damage caused by free radicals. It has a healing effect on the skin. And here I speak from experience, as just a little story. When I was a young girl, I was bitten by a dog in my face. And I don't know how clear one can see it on the screen, but I have a scar running from my lip to my chin area, my jaw, and I had quite a few other scars too. And in those days, which is what about maybe 40 years ago, it gives away my age, they used pure vitamin E and also eventually an ester vitamin E to help together with other ingredients to fight against the damage that was caused on the skin area. It's really an absolutely powerful ingredient to use in skin therapy. Now, let's look at Nimue, vitamin C and E. Most of our esters, vitamin A, C, and E, are used in our core products. In particular, and it will make sense to you now, products that contains AHAs, the acids. Now, the philosophy, as you know, is to use a slower acting ester in combination with that acid to avoid irritation. So over the years, however, you will often see in Nimue we use encapsulated forms of your vitamins as well that has become available in variants where you do not use esters. So yes, esters are still used, very much so, but often you'll also see a different forms of delivery systems for these actives. Now, vitamin C or ascorbic acid in Nimue particularly has many uses, and it's really a successful ingredient to use in skincare. But as you know, ascorbic acid is very unstable. It oxidizes very quickly, so we need a stabilizer to ensure efficacy. So hence we use the vitamin C ascorbyl palmitate. So this form of an ester is an oil-soluble form. It is used as an antioxidant in oil formulations to prevent oxidation and to subsequently prevent the rancidity of the natural oils that you find in formulations. So I think what's very clear that although we use the esters or your ester, apart from having a wonderful effect on the skin, it also has a great effect on the formulation that our brand uses. Vitamin C ester L-ascorbic acid. Here we've combined the fatty acid derived from a palm oil. So the chemical reaction that's created from the mixture That is called an ester bond. Now, the formulation, of course, will make it non-irritating, and it has a balancing effect on the pH of the skin, which is very important for Nimue. The most noticeable difference, though, between a vitamin C ester and ascorbic acid is the addition of palmitic acid to make the ester fat soluble. And it makes it easy for the skin to absorb and to penetrate into the cell plasma membrane, where we need to offer the maximum protection against free radicals. Just an example of some of the esters we used, and then of course, which of our vitamin C's are encapsulated in Nimue. We use vitamin C esters in the moisturizer light, the anti-aging hand cream, the eye treatment, the man day night cream, rejuvenating face mask, and our youth clearing moisturizer. We, however, use the encapsulated vitamin C in the superfluid vitamin C, the TDS for hyperpigmented skin, our fade products, and of course, our fade treatment and serum. Now let's look at vitamin E. Vitamin E tocopherol acetate. This is the ester form of vitamin E that we use in Nimue, tocopherol. Once again, it is the ester form for better cosmetic application and spreadability in the skin. So it's also a form to make that vitamin E more stable, and to make it stable makes it effective to be used in the cosmetic arena, in the cosmetic field. Now, once the skin, or once it's in the skin, it's broken down to form tocopherol. And tocopherol is very well known for its strong antioxidant, anti-aging, and wound healing properties. And there you'll remember the little story I told you about the dog attacking me. Now, where in Nimue do we use vitamin E esters? You can see it's an extremely long list. It is our cleansing gel light, the main man cleansing wash, Nimue Day Moisturizer Light, Multi-Day Plus, even in the SPF 40 and the tinted SPF 40, SPF 50 Environmental Shield. We use it in 5 of the superfluids, the Day Fader, the Night Fader Plus, the Night Fader, the Day and Night Fader Plus as well, Fade Treatment, and of course, the Fader Serum. So this is where you will find the ester form of vitamin E in Nimue. Now let's talk about vitamin A. You can't talk about vitamin A if you don't talk about rejuvenation, because the main function of using vitamin A is not as much an antioxidant. Yes, it has antioxidant benefits, but it's also anti-aging. It's also a rejuvenation ingredient. Now, vitamin A is a little bit different than our vitamin A, C and E. There's a number of conversion steps that vitamin A has to take in the skin and in a formulation to be used effectively. Then what it depends on, of course, these steps is the efficacy of your vitamin A that you've used, the stability of the vitamin A. So as you know, all vitamin A derivatives will degrade very, very quickly once vitamin A comes in contact with air and sunlight. So here we have to focus on the stability of the vitamin A in the ester and the nanotechnology that is involved together with the encapsulation form. And of course, we have to look at the concentration of vitamin A that we use in a formulation to determine the ester and to determine the effects that we want to achieve. Higher concentrations of retinol, as you know, can often cause an irritation, and people refer to it as a vitamin A experience on the skin or vitamin A effect on the skin. So let's look at the vitamin A conversion process first. You eat a carrot. You tonight have made your dinner or your salad and you have some carrot. Now that carrot, as you know, is rich in beta carotene. Your small intestines now absorb that beta carotene. Your liver will store it as retinol palmitate. When vitamin A is needed by my cells, the retinol palmitate is converted back and transported through the bloodstream to that organ that area in my body that needs it. Now, when retinol reaches the tissue where it's needed, it is yet again converted back to retinol palmitate. When it then finally crosses over that cell membrane of, say, the skin cell or the organ cell, it is converted back to retinol once more. And once inside the cell, it's converted into retinoic acid. So as you see, when you either ingest or apply vitamin A topically, it's a long process that takes place naturally to be able to use it effectively. Now, vitamin A in Nimue is used on the skin, of course, for texture. So if we use vitamin A esters, we want to have a molecular mechanism action. So we want to increase the proliferation and differentiation of your cells. We want to have histological change, meaning we want to create epidermal thickening of the skin. We want to create that thinning of your stratum corneum. And then, of course, we want to create a clinical benefit. The clinical benefit would relate to improving texture, to increasing and improving smoothness of the skin, and of course, your barrier function. But when you also use your product with vitamin A, you want to have a retinoid action on pigmentation. So here our molecular mechanism is, when we use vitamin A, is to decrease tyrosinase activity, to decrease the transfer of your melanosome. The histological changes that we can create with vitamin A on pigmentation is to decrease the melanin content in the cell, to enhance the desquamation of your skin, but also to reduce the size of your melanocytes, Golgi apparatus, and endoplastic reticulum. So it's all these amazing processes that we are not even always aware of that takes place within a cell if you use a vitamin A, and in our case, an ester. The clinical effects will be a general improvement of hyperpigmentation. But we also use vitamin A esters to have a retinoic action on acne. Molecular mechanism is to increase your cell turnover and desquamation. Your histological changes will be to decrease the retention hyperkeratosis on the skin and to unclog the blocked pores. And then, of course, we have a clearing action of the acne and of the debris and dirt and buildup of cells within the skin, which allows the entry of oxygen in the follicle. The clinical effect we want with vitamin A on acne is less papule and pustule formation. It needs to act as a comedolytic agent and control the multiplications of P. acne. So Nimue makes use of retinol because we believe in a slow, gradual approach with a cumulative effect on the skin. As you know, in our philosophy, we do not create side effects or downtime by using our retinol, our vitamin A ester. Our aim is to completely achieve rejuvenation through that maximum stimulation and minimum irritation effect on the skin. Now, we looked at the conversion. If I eat a carrot, if I eat vitamin A, let's now quickly have a look at the conversion of your retinol, which is the ester form, into the skin to have an effective release and an effective action. When you apply your Nimue product that's rich in vitamin A or retinol to the skin, when the retinol reaches the dermis, the epidermis, where it's supposed to be delivered into, it is converted to retinol palmitate. Now, this is the only way it can enter your cells, such as your keratinocytes and, importantly, your fibroblasts. When it crosses that cell membrane, it's converted back to retinol once more. But once it's inside the cell, it again gets converted into retinoic acid and can finally act as a cell communicator and tell other cells what to do to increase cell turnover, to exfoliate the skin, or the desired effect for why it is needed in one of our skin classifications. It has a pathway within the skin cells, our vitamin A pathway, or our retinol pathway, as I explained to you, but this visual will really guide you. On the outside of the cell, the retinol will interact with specific proteins, and we call that interaction the retinol binding protein. And this aids that intracellular transfer to with the receptor protein. Once inside the cell, within the cytoplasm, and we know the importance of the cytoplasm, we can't be without a cytoplasm, the retinol now binds with cellular retinol binding proteins. So as I explained it previously, it sounds like a very easy process, but now we can see how important all these binding proteins are as well. The third step, the retinol dehydrogenase enzyme metabolizes retinol into retinaldehyde. So remember, we always say to you when the term genase is at the end, like collagenase, elastase, dehydrogenase is the enzyme used here. That's the enzyme that often breaks something down or causes a metabolizing effect on the skin. The fourth step, your retinaldehyde, is now metabolized. So what happens now, it is metabolized by this enzyme back into retinoic acid. In step 5, the retinoic acid is now bound by your crab binding protein, and it's still in the cytoplasm of the cell. The crab carries your retinoic acid into the nucleus. Now your retinoic acid will enter the nucleus of my cell and bind yet again with more receptors, the retinoic acid receptor. This combination becomes one and binds to a sequence of DNA known as rare or retinoic acid response element. Certain target genes can now be regulated or expressed that we want to target to be able to have the desired effect, what we need by using vitamin A esters in Nimue. What does our ester, retinol palmitate, do for the skin used in Nimue? When we use retinol palmitate on the skin, your skin's natural enzymes will convert retinol palmitate to retinol, which is a powerful anti-aging ingredient, and we use it to treat lines, wrinkles, encouraging the growth of new and healthy cells. That is why at the start of the section on retinol, I said retinol is used more as an anti-aging, rejuvenating ingredient than as an antioxidant. Retinol palmitate is an ingredient used to improve skin tone as well. Now, Nimue vitamin A ester, retinol palmitate, as I mentioned, is used for rejuvenation properties through the repairing and treating of the signs of environmental or photo damage in the skin. The function is to increase cell renewal, that's be able to activate my collagen production within the skin through cell communication, of course, to normalize the keratinization process, to assist in the shedding of pigmented keratinocytes, and of course by improving cell turnover. But another important function of my vitamin A ester is to increase the level of gags and of course then improving dermal hydration within the skin. Now, an ester is formed, a vitamin A ester, when an alcohol and an acid is formed, very much the same as how other esters are formed within our vitamin C and E. In the case of the alcohol, the retinol is combined with palmitic acid, and thus the retinol palmitate is formed. The palmitate refers to the palmitic acid. When applied to the skin, it is absorbed and converted to retinol, ultimately converted to retinoic acid, which is the active form required by my skin to have a rejuvenation effect. Now, we use retinol palmitate in our cleansing gel light, cleansing milk, man cleansing wash, and we use our encapsulated retinol in the purifier and our superfluid retinol. Thank you so much for listening and for allowing me to share information of the esters used in Nimue and why we use it. Love your Nimue skin, and thank you again. Thank you, Lydia, for the invitation.
Thank you, Eunice. I've got a question, if you don't mind.
Of course.
With the retinol, it's such a hyped ingredient these days. But how about pregnancy?
This is such a controversial question, such a good question. You know, working at Nimue, working with Nimue, knowing what they do in the labs, etc. The typical scientist will tell you when they develop a product for skincare, I'm not talking medical, they will use it at the required percentage that's allowed by the regulatory company, the EU regulation, whichever else regulated company. And some scientists will say to you that if you use a cosmetic or cosmeceutical, it should be safe during pregnancy. However, we have not tested it that way. So I always say to clients, rather be safe than sorry. Just stop your actives like I would not use the retinol in my superfluids maybe during pregnancy. But that small amount that's used in the cleanser is not going to do anything to your client or to the baby. So always look at what your brand says percentage-wise and the regulations of your country. Medical grade, of course, that's different altogether, and there you will look and listen to the doctor or the dermatologist that recommends it.
How about the purifier? Would be still safe?
Purifier is encapsulated. It's even a more safe application. We know we have clients that have used it during pregnancy with no side effects. I would not introduce it the first time during pregnancy. If my client is pregnant and suddenly has breakouts or suddenly has pigmentation, which is so normal and natural during pregnancy, just continue with what you're doing. It's going to change again during the pregnancy journey, and it will settle as you give birth and your hormones start to work normally again.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Maybe Aina's got a question. She's on the call with us, or someone else.
And someone else. But please, ladies, you have Lydia's email. You're welcome to mail questions to her that she'll refer to me. And I'm always there to help and to answer any questions.
Thank you, Eunice. One thing that I learned, I didn't know that vitamin E would be in majority of our superfluids. So you should have named it a vitamin E and vitamin C superfluid. So it's like two.
It's a small percentage. You know, a formulation, when we say it's, say, the superfluid vitamin C.
Yeah.
You can't just put in vitamin C, there you go. There's a formulation, of course, to apply to the skin. So in the formulation, there's a small little amount of these ingredients to further help with the antioxidation effect.
That's right. Okay, that was really, really interesting, Eunice. Thank you so much once again. And until next time, have a great day. Thanks everyone who joined.
Same for all of you. Good luck for Australia lockdown.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.